Hello everyone. Welcome to our YouTube channel Premiere Next. In this video, you are going to get all information related to the latest updates of the game Dune, Spice Wars. Introduction of the game Dune, Spice Wars. There were a great deal of large declarations at the 2021 Game Awards, including a few new trailers displaying forthcoming games. Many were astounded and eager to hear that they were at long last getting an Alan Wake 2, and Quantic Dream's Star Wars, Eclipse, showed watchers what seemed to be a new interpretation of that universe far, far away. However, Star Wars wasn't the main epic sci-fi establishment to stand out enough to be noticed. There will be a new Rise game too. It's a good idea that the studio would make this declaration now, directly following the enormously effective 2021 Hill film made by science fiction legend Denis Villeneuve. The novel by Frank Herbert that the establishment depended on was composed as far as possible back in 1965. However, in numerous ways, the IP has never been more famous than it is currently. The new game is classified Ridge, Spice Wars, and it's set to be made by Shiro Games, makers of Northgard, which is viewed as one of the most mind-blowing city-building games on PC at this moment. Here's beginning and end we know up until this point. The gameplay of the game Dune, Spice Wars. There is no interactivity film for Rise, Spice Wars yet there's a great deal of data concerning what sort of game it will be. As indicated by the Steam page, it's an ongoing technique game with 4x components. That implies players should investigate, grow, exploit and eradicate to fight for control and predominance over the unforgiving desert planet of Arrakis. Players will get to pick one of a few groups including House Atreides, which is driven by Duke Leto, and House Harkonnen, which is driven by Baron Vladimir. No different groups have been declared at this point. However, the Fremen and the Imperial Sardaukar seem like regular decisions, assuming Shiro Games is planning to restrict itself to the groups that introduced themselves in the principal book. The pictures of the game imply that Hill, Spice Wars, will work in basically the same manner to Northgard and most other RTS Triumph games. Players will actually want to assemble urban areas, control investigation and military units, exchange assets, use spy organizations, fabricate guards and send off intrusions. One novel component about Arrakis is the risk of sandworms. As per the Steam depiction, players should filter the scene for worm sign or hazard, losing your soldiers and flavor gatherers to titanic sandworms who will burst through the sand rises to gulp down and eat up them. It's muddled what explicit job the Zest will play in the game's mechanics. However, it will without a doubt be essential to controlling the desert planet. Information about the release date and trailer of the game Dune, Spice Wars. One of the main things players need to know when they hear there will be a new Hill game is the point at which it's approaching out. Sadly, a hard date hasn't been set at this point. Truth be told, it seems as though it very well may be some time before planned players get to partake in the entire game. The Steam page essentially says that Rise, Spice Wars has an arranged delivery date for 2022. However, there is another segment expressing that the game will be delivered in early access, with notes from the designer clarifying that a pre-discharge play period will help by guaranteeing availability while remaining consistent with the pith of Frank Herbert's work and making a remarkable game where the exceptionally intriguing elements of the Dune universe are converted into a convincing interactivity experience. The note proceeds to theorize regarding how long the designers accept the game will stay in early access. Our present assessment is 9 to a year, relying upon how rapidly we can arrive at our achievements and carry out our arranged highlights as a whole and content. However, there's no rush. So, while players might have the option to visit Arrakis when 1 year from now, almost certainly, the game won't be finished until 2023. The declaration was made via a brief in-cover trailer, which is a little more than a short-lived. The camera opens on the Arrakis, the capital city of Arrakeen. As the camera gradually dishes away, watchers can see a few enormous blasts explode inside the city dividers as the boats of intruders approach. As the camera moves further away, a sandworm should be visible breaking the desert prior to plunging once more into the sand. Then, at that point, the camera backs further away, uncovering the world to be climbed into a de-exemplified hand in space as sand and spice slip between its fingers. The hand then, at that point, closes, annihilating the world in a puff of sand as the title materializes. The trailer is named with a few noticeable lines from the book. The first is probably Baron Harkonnen, expressing "There it is. The greatest demise trap in all of history, and the Duke is going into its jaws." More statements from the establishment start to be layered on top of one another until they are hard to comprehend. Then, at that point, in the last minutes, as the hand shuts, every one of the characters states simultaneously, "This is my Dune." It informs very little concerning what players will actually want to expect in the game, however works really hard laying out the overall subject. If you are watching this video on Facebook, please like and subscribe to our Facebook page, and if you are watching this video on YouTube, please click on the like button and do subscribe for the latest update.